What is up, Green Bay Packers fans, and welcome to a live edition, I guess, of the Daily Draft. I'm your host and the publisher of Packer Report, Ross Uglem, and we are so tremendously excited to be with you guys today. And we're presented by Badger State Brewing, which is a awesome. I don't know if you guys have ever been over there, but just an awesome spot, very close to Lambeau Field. We've talked about um, some of their product and just how much we've enjoyed our partnership on the Daily Draft. Obviously, draft beer. That was kind of the whole thing. Uh, Not necessarily the reason that we called it the Daily Draft, but it was what we would call excellent synergy. Um, it makes a lot of sense. And why I'm talking specifically about Badger State and what we have going on is that I am so very pleased to announce that we are going to have a unbelievable Packer Report draft party on Friday, April 26th at Badger State Brewing. Super, super excited. Gonna open things up, and the times and stuff are sort of fluid, but Andy is going to host a happy hour from I think like 4 to 5:30, and then after that I'm going to take over and we're going to go all the way from like 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. and the Packers will pick 4 times, and that's why we picked Friday. And it's just going to be a very, very, very fun event. Awesome beers over there. Not 100% sure what we're going to do for food and stuff, but a lot of details still to be worked out. But that is the announcement they were making, that there is going to be a Pack a Day podcast happy hour from 4 to 5:30 on Friday, April 26th, and then a Packer Report draft party from 5:30 to 10 p.m. Excuse me. And no, I am not healthy yet, but we just got kind of the go ahead for sure, and got everything finalized, and we're just so very excited. Green Bay to pick at 41, 58, 88, and 91. We'll be there. I'll be answering questions. We'll have kind of a live show aspect to it. Again, some of the details are still being worked out, but we are just so very, very, very pumped to announce our uh, live, actual live draft party in Green Bay, Wisconsin at Badger State Brewing. So very, very, very pumped about that. Excited for Andy, excited for me, excited for us, and yeah, we're just super, super stoked to um, get to do something live with you guys, and have folks enjoy all the great stuff that Badger State has to do, and kind of get together and talk draft. And a lot of draft party stuff is round one, and we get that, and that's fun, and there'll probably be something cool to do in Green Bay on Thursday night. But we just thought, man, with 4 picks in basically 4 hours, or 4 picks in 3.5 hours, Friday was going to be the day to do it. It will also actually, oddly enough, be my 36th birthday, so that will be a fun way to spend it with all you guys, and we're super, super excited to announce this. Okay, as I mentioned, we're going to be here, I guess, about as long as we have questions to deal with. As you can kind of tell, I don't sound like myself. I need I've had a cough drop. I've got my body armor back there. I'm trying to stay hydrated. We'll keep talking as long as I have questions, or if my voice actually does give out. But once again, if you're just popping in, the big announcement was a live draft party at Badger State Brewing on Friday night, April 26th. Pack a Day podcast happy hour from 4 to 5:30 with Andy Herman, and then from 5:30 to 10 p.m. The Packer Report draft party. Packers picking at 41, 58, 88, 91 at Badger State Brewing, right by Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I hope to see absolutely every single one of you there. Okay. Super chat here. David, there are projections that professional sports will be gone by 2035 in the USA because the new generation doesn't care to go to games. Have you heard about it? Yeah, I get sort of the I guess the idea behind this question. I think you might see a continuation in you might see a cap to how much you can kind of charge to get people to go to games live as home setups keep getting better. Gambling on sports from your own house becomes easier and easier. Super high def 85-inch TVs. You might see that, but folks, pro sports aren't going anywhere. They're so monetized right now. They can make money off of ads. They can make money still off of tickets. They can make money off of TV deals. They can make money off of jerseys, off of merchandise, off of gambling, off. I mean, they're not going anywhere. Um, yeah, I mean, thoughts on the Diggs deal? Giving up a second and change to pay 30. Yeah, I get that. I think there's a lot of money that I think the Bills have to eat. That's part of it. When you trade for a guy, usually guarantees or bonuses, and I don't know the exact numbers on all this, but I do know that um, part of the dead cap stuff that Buffalo has to eat, like they're responsible for guarantees, bonuses, so whatever Diggs was getting, it's not like the Texans have to pick up the full tab. That's not usually how it works. It's mostly like his salary moving forward. Excuse me, that they have to pick up. I do apologize, guys. I'm still not in the land of the living. But and that was one of the things, and I've eaten my crow on Jordan Love plenty, but that was one of the things that I was concerned with Jordan Love, and not necessarily even Jordan Love himself, but just the way that they were doing it is the Texans now get to do dumb stuff like this because they're not paying CJ Stroud anything. And while the Packers are certainly in a better position that Jordan is good than if he would not have been good, they have now for the second straight quarterback, and whatever, they won a Super Bowl with Rodgers. But they have now for the second straight quarterback missed that rookie contract, that rookie quarterback contract window where like the Eagles got to build a super roster around Jalen Hurts, and they didn't win the bowl, but the Eagles got to build a super roster around Jalen Hurts because he wasn't making any money. And the San Francisco 49ers got to build a super roster around Brock Purdy because he wasn't making any money. Now you're seeing the Houston Texans getting to build a super roster around CJ Stroud because he's not making any money. And the Packers are going to end up having to, hit in the draft on these pass catchers and other things because while, yeah, they're, going to be able to make signings like McKinney and stuff, Jordan's about to get paid. So, that's and that's fine. But I mean, it's something to keep in mind. But yeah, that's when you have a quarterback as good as CJ Stroud making no money, you can do stuff like the Stephon Diggs trade. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it would have to be like around 5, 6, or 7 on Kinchins. So the question here is, I know you did your scouting video on Kinchins pre-combine. That's when they start to take guys that don't fit the athletic profile. You'll see, and by the way, they still take plenty of high level athletes in round 5, 6, and 7. But when they'll take, and here, I'm going to give you kind of good examples, but like when they'll take a guy like Carl Brooks, who doesn't fit their athletic profile, but is a good player, round 6. When they'll take a guy like Kingsley Enagbare, who doesn't fit their athletic profile, but is a good player in round 5, they'll do some more things like that later in the draft. When you start talking about like my relative athletic score shortlist, the RAS shortlist, you can really dial in rounds 1 to 4. And of course there's exceptions, right? Because like, Jaden Reed and Amari Rodgers, Jay Sternberg or whatever, but you look at the percentage of the Packers kind of doing business the way the Packers do business in round 4, it's really round 1 through 4, it's really high. They like to do business the way they do business in round 1 to 4, and then they'll potentially start making some adjustments or going out of what they do round 5, 6, 7. And honestly, like Cameron might have done that much damage to himself. Not maybe round 6 or 7, but he might be a round 5 guy after what went on there. But yeah, that'd be about it. Now, this is where we're talking about projections because I think I still have a 3rd round grade on Kinchins. But if we're talking about how the Packers do business, which is what I feel like this question is, then I would guess that they would probably wait until round 5, just because that's, again, usually when they start to stray from what they normally like, around 5, 6, 7, and then UDFA. Um, I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I don't think so. Okay, I see this. Maybe. I'll I don't know how realistic that is, or what the production aspect of it would entail. I appreciate it. Looks like there's a lot of folks um, interested in like us streaming the event from Badger State. I'll try. I just don't know because I know Andy's going to be live streaming on the Pack a Day feed, like from his studio. I don't know how realistic it is what we're doing. Maybe like a highlight package. I don't know, but I don't know how realistic it's going to be. Yeah, hope to see you there. Um, if Green Bay goes Guyton round one, how do you see the line shifting last year? Okay, so I got to be honest about Guyton. Um, he's not very good right now. Um, and I get why there is interest in him. Freak athlete, hits basically. He moves like one of these Packers 6'5", 305-pound linemen at 6'8", 320 or whatever he is. Hits their three cone, hits their short shuttle. But guys, watch the tape. He has a lot of issues. He's not good as a run blocker, and he's just kind of okay in pass pro. 14 career starts, never played left tackle. I mean, I have a second round grade on him. I don't have a 1 on him. You go look at Pro Football Focus, and people don't like them or whatever, but I mean, his overall grade from them is like 63.6 last year. And then you look at like Fatan, who's like a 97, and that look, that you can disagree with their grades. You can say the draft is about projection, all those things, but like that matches what I see on the film. I think Tyler Guyton is not ready to play NFL football until 2025 at the earliest. If you're starting him, you're in trouble. And honestly, I don't know how comfortable I would be with Guyton as a swing tackle in 2025. I think if you, as an NFL team, are taking Tyler Guyton, you are betting on next year or the year after. And then, and then he's awesome. And then you try to extend him and stuff like that. But I would not expect big things from him as a rookie. Sorry. Um, right. Yep. And so I think again, the Bills eating 31 million in dead cap this year, that has ramifications on easing what the Texans have to do to pay Diggs. I think I would need like Brad Spielberger, who I think took a real job with an agency. Shout out to Brad, or Ken, to like explain exactly how that works. But some of that dead money that Buffalo's eating eases the burden on Houston, is my understanding. Again, I'm not like I have the understanding. In my opinion, I have the understanding of the cap that I need to have. Beyond that, I don't know. I do that so fast your head would spin. That's going to make people mad, but I do that so fast your head would spin. Yeah, thank you. No, it's terrible. I got it up in the chest. It's not fun. Uh, Dubs, for sure. I think Wicks does basically everything that Dubs does, and I think has a chance to do it better. I don't think you're going to get the return for Christian that you'd want, given his injury history. Christian also has a gear that Romeo definitely doesn't have. Um, I, only 2 years left of Romeo, where you have 3 left of Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks. If Buffalo had some sweet offer, Romeo would be the one that I would put out there. For sure not Reed, for sure not Wicks. Just I've had this conversation because people always like, well, trade Christian because you can't play. You don't think every team you don't think every team knows that? You don't think his value usually the players that the fans want to trade the most have the least amount of value, or the fans wouldn't want to trade them? Yeah, maybe. We've talked about it before. Why not have 2 Christian Watsons? Um, okay. Excuse me, I'm sorry. A weekly pack-a-day show with a player would be fire. Yeah, I mean, the problem with that is they're very extremely busy people, and often it costs money to get them. Yeah, I agree that it would be fun, but it's the realistic aspect of it, I'm not sure. Thoughts on Green Bay using some combo of their extra day twos to move back in? Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it, right? I think there's a way, that you could pick 9 times instead of 11. I will say, though, they do need bodies. It's still a light roster when you think about how many guys have left. Um, Runyon not being there anymore, Bakhtiari not being there, uh, Nijman not being there. I mean, they have plenty of holes literally on the roster where they just need bodies. They need offensive line bodies. They need safety bodies. They need running back bodies, I think. And but I do so for me, I would pick as many times between 25 and 80 in this class as I possibly could. And that I was fine. Let's call it 25 and 91 because that's where they actually have picks. They'll get players in their top 80 because that's just how it works. Plus, I think you can probably pick 6 or 7 quarterbacks in the top 90 that Green Bay is not going to take because they have Love. So your math just maths there anyway. But like for me, the strength of this draft is between like player 25 and 90. If I was the Packers, I'd probably try to sneak into that range one more time, see what you could, maybe it's a trade back and then use some of that to trade back up, go from like 25 to 30, and then whatever you get, then maybe package that with something to move back into, that 60 to 90 range. As bad as they've been in round 3, I understand that, but that's where I like a lot of the players in this class. Goodness. Okay. Yes, sorry. We'll do this one more time. So, the announcement, yeah, we are doing it live. Very excited. We're doing a live draft party at Badger State Brewing. Very, very excited. Friday, not Thursday. Keep that in mind. Green Bay picks at 41, 58, 88, and 91. Pack a Day podcast happy hour from 4 to 5:30. Pack Report draft party 5:30 to 10 p.m. Green Bay picks 41, 58, 88, 91. We'll break it all down for you. Unbelievable beers, ciders. The folks at Badger State are just awesome. Not 100% sure what we're going to do for food. Um, Lots of details, but we wanted to get this out because we're less than a month away. Obviously, I am coming. I'm going to drive the 8 hours to make it happen. So that's the announcement. That's what's going on. So this one, Aaron, doesn't matter so much, and I don't mean that to dismiss your question. It's more often than not, the Sam is the guy who comes off the field. So when the Packers still talk about it being a 70 to 75% nickel game, um, for all intents and purposes, I would guess that McDuffie ends up being the quote unquote Sam because I think Quay, despite some of my issues with the way he plays, but I think he's going to be your Will. I don't think he's coming off the field. He hasn't come off the field basically the entire time. His first 2 years, I don't think he's going to come off the field now. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. Okay, we're gonna make it. I promise. We're gonna survive. Quay is gonna stay on the field at all times. The Mike is gonna stay on the field at all times, whether that's Edge Cooper, which I think is kind of a crazy fit, Peyton Wilson, Junior Colson, whomever you believe that Mike is gonna be, somebody that gets cut from their team. Maybe it's a veteran trade. Doesn't matter. The Mike and the Will are gonna stay on the field when Keyshawn Nixon or whomever the new nickel is comes out. So if you believe, and this is true, if you believe what the Packers are saying that they're going to be a 75% nickel team, well, the Sam linebacker is going to play 25% of the snaps, if not 20. And so we're talking about 13 snaps a game. So the Sam thing, it could be McDuffie, it could be whatever. It's just not something to really concern yourself with, in my opinion. I would say I'd have had the best luck. I've got a pretty good hit rate on wide receivers and edges. Those were the two Um, the two that I've been doing the longest, and I would put my hit rate up there with anybody. Um, quarterback is tough. Obviously missed on Jordan Love. Was super right about a couple of guys too, though, but like was very wrong about Baker Mayfield. I shouldn't say I was very wrong about Baker Mayfield. I really liked Baker Mayfield. It sort of has worked out fine. He just hasn't been what I thought he would be. Right about Joe Burrow, but everybody was right about Joe Burrow. Um, super mean to Drew Lock. That was right. Uh, but then I was wrong about Josh Allen too. Quarterback's hard. It is. It's hard, and so always learning about how to scout quarterbacks. Always learning. Always trying to figure out what I did right and wrong. But yeah, my hit rate. I would be pretty proud of my hit rate at wide receiver and edge. Um, yeah, I mean, uh, it all comes down to with the Graham Barton thing. Do they believe he can play tackle? And if they do, then they're probably going to be very comfortable taking him. If they don't believe he can play tackle, because all anybody could ever talk about with Brian Bulaga is that he had short arms and he was too short to play tackle, and they played him there and it was fine. I mean, it was more than fine. I mean, he was great, but I think Barton's arms are a half inch shorter than his. So, they haven't taken a center in round one since God knows what. There's a little bit of a disagreement, I guess, between, Ross Verba technically was a guard, but they played him at tackle. They drafted him and played him at tackle for 4 years, including in, I think, either one or two Super Bowls. And then eventually moved into guard in like year 5. But whatever. It's either Ross Verba in 1997 or Aaron Taylor in 1994 is the last guard they took in round 1. I don't know when the last time they took a center in round 1 was. Is that lock you into not doing that? I don't know about that, but that's going to be the big thing with Barton is what position for them, what position does he play? Where do they believe they can use him? And do they actually not care if he's a guard center? Because historically, they have cared. They have not spent that, number 1 pick on a guard center. I still think it's going to be a pass rusher or a corner because that's what they do. We'll see. Who's this year's Toolsy Project alien athlete? One of the linebackers, Trevin Wallace, Curtis Jacobs, Cedric Gray, one of them. Okay. I'm gonna pick one more because I'm dying here. I'm gonna pick one more. Jake Stack. You're supposed to be on this stream, you punk. We'll hit this one, and then we're gonna let it roll. No, and this is I shouldn't have picked this one because the answer is no. I mean, Enik Barre. Yeah, clearly you're working. Clearly you're working, Jake Stack. Enik Barre is obviously hurt. He has the closest like linebacker body type, although Brenton Cox is like 255 or something like that. So he's maybe in kind of that big deal. Like Van Ness is just such a natural 4-3 end. And he might even play a little bit of 3-tech. The Sam thing, like I said, and I'm gonna wrap up the show here, but the Sam thing is I don't want to call it overrated because they are moving to a 4-3 defense. But again, the Mike and the Will are the two that are going to stay on the field the whole time. Okay. So if you're going to play 70, even 70%, not 75, if you're going to play 70% nickel, which they are, you're going to be Mike and Will on the field so much more. Like that Sam guy's playing 15 snaps. So that's going to be more of a McDuffie thing. It's going to be, get away with a Christian Welch. Like it's not a super important thing, but no, I don't think anybody from the edge group makes a ton of sense. Excuse me. I don't think anybody from the edge group makes sense at Sam. Even that oversized Sam on like a 4-3 under, where they're basically blitzing him and playing a 5-man front anyway. I just think that, Matt has said it, Brian has said it, everyone has said it. Yes, the base is a 4-3. We've had that discussion. This team is going to be a 4-2-5. Last year, the edges stood up. This year, the edges will have their hand in the dirt. Yes, there will be base down stuff, but, for the most part, it will be a 4-2-5. 4 guys, hands in the dirt. Mike and Will on the field. Sam not really on the field. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I apologize. I'm fighting this. It's Wednesday. I got big plans with my daughter. Happy birthday, Berkeley. I love you. My daughter turned 4 today. She is the best. But yeah, I'm trying to fight through this stuff as absolutely best as I can. Then Andy's neighborhood starts on fire and he doesn't have Pack-A-Day content, so your boy has to come through. But again, one last time, if you missed the announcement, so excited. Badger State Brewing here in the there we go, here in the top right corner. Very, very excited. The Pack-A-Day podcast happy hour from 4 to 5:30 Friday night, April 26th. My 36th birthday, I think. 36, I think. Super excited. And then the Packer Report draft party from 5:30 to 10. Packers picking at 41, 58, 88, 91. We will break it all down for y'all. Do us a favor. Buy the Packer Report draft guide. It's my pinned tweets. Jake Stack, who's fake working his pinned tweet. Should be there on Packer Report. Anyway, I'm gonna pass on from this world, folks. Thank you so much once again. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, guys. Go Pack, go.